and they don't want to go out into written form until they know more about this. I'm just guessing.
I don't know how you deal with it then.
Well, can I make a suggestion? Maybe instead of asking for a legal opinion, we ask for for a specific subject for this committee, an agenda for this thing to go on, so we don't actually get a legal opinion.
We don't even have an agenda. And as a public body, I don't see how we can even respond to this letter until we know what we're being invited to discuss as a public body representing all the citizens of this community.
I would agree with
So I would say, it's up to them whether they want to supply us with a legal opinion or not. That's their call. I'm just suggesting I'm not going to respond to anything until I know what the agenda is. It may not be in our best interest to even show up at a meeting. It might be in our absolute interest to show up into a meeting. It may be in our joint together interest to have a facilitation. I don't know.
Well, all right. As opposed to legal opinion, if you made a motion to just ask for an agenda of points that you want to discuss, that would be perhaps an alternative. Have the city manager take that to them.
How about its direction rather than we don't even need
Direction.
issues to be discussed.
Yeah, as I'm looking at this, it seems that we need to know what the issue is, and what facts have led them to raise this as an issue.
Right.
And I think if you answer that, you're going to have your agenda. They may not be prepared to issue a written legal opinion. I don't think we need a legal opinion per se. I think if we know what the issue is, we know what their concerns are that got us here. If that, from there, you can put together an agenda and figure out what you need to do.
What our response should be.
Exactly.
All right, so we want a direction to staff framed consistent with your comments.
I agree with that.
Okay?
Can I make a comment?
Yes, Commissioner Rock.
Okay, I would like to be a little softer on this rather than being too hardline, because the last time we worked with them, with the library, Commissioner Sherman and I met with Tom Sweeney and Paul Vandermeer, and we made no decisions. We came back. Joe Valentine helped us, and he did everything that was necessary from a legal aspect from the city. And we moved forward, I thought, on a very friendly and positive note, as opposed to being too harsh or too strict, or this is the law. Or, there are a lot of things that are according to the law that you can handle a little bit friendlier. And I would suggest proceeding that way. I don't know if it means meeting with them first and finding out what it is they want, but that's what they're suggesting. This comes from Paul Vandermeer, and he's asking for some commissioners to meet with them, and I would be inclined to do that. Not necessarily me, because it is legal, and I'm thinking that attorneys should meet with them.
Well, all right. I mean, recognizing your concern, I mean, the consensus is that we're not asking for a legal opinion. We want it softer. We want them to specify the issues and what they want to talk about, which will form an agenda for exactly what you're suggesting. That's the compromise. I think the legal opinion's too harsh, too, out the door.
And a factual basis for those issues. I mean, I think you've got to get some facts on this issue. I'm not willing to go into it without, or support going into it without it.
Okay. Commissioner Sherman.
I think actually what we're talking about with having them lay out the issues and what their facts are that got here is kind of the way we handled it the first time, because they came and we started with, here are the issues, so we knew what we were dealing with when we met with them and what their concerns were. Where we don't completely know that here. We don't have a framework in order to have that first meeting. Where that when we met for the first time with the library last time for the building renovation process, we had some framework to start with where the meetings were very productive. And my concerns are if we don't have a little more, we're not going to be able to have a productive meeting. We're going to spend the first X number of hours just figuring out what it is.
Right. Can you take that?
I can, but I think we're talking all around the issue.
Yes.
Because some of you have already been told what the issue is, or what view the issue as being. The point is, we don't know what the foundation for them taking that position is. So I don't have a problem going back and asking them to formulate what it is we're talking about and why. But it seems to me that they're the ones that have raised this issue. And it seems to me that you need to understand the foundation for why they formulated that idea. Whether that's a legal opinion or not, whether that's harsh or not, we're talking about the public's business here. And it seems to me that should be a very open and public conversation when this all occurs.
No, we don't have a problem with that.
I think that's exactly what we requested. It was the issue and the facts that underlie that issue. How did they arrive at this being an issue?
We're just simply trying to avoid having the library have their lawyer reduced, some opinion that sets up a confrontation of some sort. We don't want to get there. We want to understand more about where they're coming from first, and you have a right, and we have a right as a public body to ask them the who, what, where, and when. Draw it out.
Glad to do that.
Yeah. Just, don't put it into a legal opinion. We don't want that.
And don't be harsh.
Opinion of an attorney.
Don't be harsh either.
Don't be harsh.
Don't be harsh. Don't be harsh. A real soft letter. Who, what, where, when, and why. Okay?
You want me to be charmingly harsh.
No.
I want you to be charming, period.
We're not asking that. All right, Commissioner Roth.
How about something like in preparation for the meeting with the commissioners, and we would like to know, or whatever it is, or what the issues are in preparation, so that we're not setting up an adversarial relationship.
I don't think we have to even say we're going to meet. I think, let them explain what the issue is and a foundation for that issue and set an agenda, and then we decide whether it's a starter or not.
All right, that's...
And, instead of saying in preparation for a meeting, I'm already negotiating against myself for an issue I don't even understand. So, I don't think... I want to know why they want to meet. Then I'll decide whether I'm going to meet.
All right, the city manager
Not
will
being harsh.
write a
I
letter.
think that's just being, going out for the public good.
Tell you what, I'll prepare a letter and you folks will get it. Well, you can't do that. It's an OMA violation. I'll prepare a letter based on what you said.
Good
And I'll
idea.
clear it with the mayor.
I'll sign it. I'll sign it. There.
Well, Paul did.
Good compromise.
And
All right, Mr. Bloom.
Hi. I read the letter, and then I blinked my eyes, and I read it again, and I read it again, and I think it's the reason I had to reread it was it's a vague letter, and it's very circuitous, and I think it's incumbent upon the president of the library to, if he wants to communicate something to the city commission, to come out and say what he has to say, and I would ask him to do that and to keep it public rather than keep something in private meetings. The other thing is about asking them to go get a legal opinion or have them get one. The library has started out a couple years ago with less than $10,000 a year legal budget, and now they're over $20,000, and it seems to me they keep on spending more and more taxpayer dollars on legal opinions, and I don't want my millage going for that. And it seems to me that the city and the library have been working well together for 75 years, and I don't know why we have to open up issues of charters and looking at who controls what. I mean, things have been working, so it's just my 2 cents.
All right, thank you. All right, we've given the city manager, for lack of a better word, marching orders, vague marching orders. We'll see what happens.
But
All right.
not too harsh of a march.
Wear your green tie and it'll be just fine.
reconciling.
All right, we're into reports.